All right, welcome everyone to our Business Intelligence 101 webinar. My name is Colin Fitzgerald with Dyntell BI, and I'm a consultant. And today we're going to cover a lot of topics, and it's my goal to help you discover and learn as much as you can about business intelligence here today. Okay, and I just wanted to show you here is my direct email, column@dyntellbi.com. So, feel free to shoot me any questions that you have, whether they're more specific or non-public questions, or you just want to say hi. Shoot me an email after the webinar or anytime thereafter, and I can help you with your questions. Okay, so we're an international software company with offices in the US, Hungary, Romania, and Poland. And with around 100 international employees, we serve about 1,000 clients internationally. And besides our BI or business intelligence software, we also have developed an ERP or enterprise resource planning software as well. Okay, and so we believe that software without expertise has little meaning. So here at Dyntell, we work to provide solutions that create real, tangible value for our clients, right? So we're not just about creating a product, but we're about offering support and making sure our clients get the most out of our products. All right, so that's just some really quick background on our company. Now let's talk about business intelligence and why you should and why you need to pay attention to its development and why it's becoming an indispensable tool for businesses today. All right, and I should mention that we will be recording this webinar, and again, it will be available later so you can review it. Okay, and as I said, you can email me directly after the webinar, and I will get back to you with answers to your questions. All right, so quickly now we're going to go over the outcomes for this webinar. So what you're going to be learning about today. First and foremost, you will know more about the benefits that BI can deliver for you and your organization. You will be more familiar with data collection, analysis, and visualization, which is essentially what BI is, collecting, analyzing, and then visualizing data. Next, you'll be able to choose a BI solution that best fits your needs, or maybe shouldn't say choose, but you'll be able to identify certain points of a BI solution that will fit what you need it to do, okay? You'll have concrete examples of views, dashboards, and predictions. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you some real-world examples of those things so you have a better idea of what BI can do exactly. All right, you'll understand the power of predictive features and how they're really changing the way we do business, how they're changing the state of the business world. Okay, and more. I'm sure there'll be other things that'll come up that perhaps you didn't know that much about, and we can hopefully help you to discover more about what BI can do for you. Okay, so those are our outcomes. So, what exactly is BI and what's all this hype about, right? What is everyone talking about? Well, I guess first we can define what business intelligence or BI is. And BI essentially takes past and present data, analyzes it, finds trends and connections, and then visualizes that data so you can make better decisions. Okay, so it's really that simple. Okay, that's what a BI system is. And a good BI solution should be customizable to fit your needs. It should be responsive, okay? It should be dynamic, right? Dynamic and agile. It should be reliable, of course. It should be automated. Certain features should be automated, definitely. And finally, it should be predictive, okay? You should be able to predict what's coming next using a BI solution. And so, I'd like to point out now that, additionally, there's no doubt that the human aspect of doing business like customer service or relationship building, that human connection is essential, is crucial to business development. But that being said, uh, that being said, we believe that measurable benefits and results are what really matter most in creating and sustaining a successful business. Okay, so the human aspect is necessary. We need that. That's never going to go away. But being able to measure your benefits and results are that's what really matters to business owners. Okay, and so if you are making serious decisions, serious business decisions, you need the data to back up your reasoning. So whether you're a manager, a team leader, the head of a department, a CEO, on the board of directors, an investor, whatever it is, you need the data, okay? And having a good BI solution is like having an expert consultant, a data scientist, and a fortune teller all rolled into one. All right, and a good BI solution can do all this for you. Okay, that sounds great, doesn't it? Like which business leader wouldn't want to have these three people all rolled into one, right? I mean, that's a dream for any business owner, and BI can deliver on that. And when we're talking about BI, through our experience talking to SMEs, small and medium-sized enterprises, most of them emphasized improved access to data when they decided to integrate a BI system. So what does that mean, improved access to data? Well, that means that they're able to have access to their data. It's not just a jumbled mess of data, unstructured data, but they're able to collect the data, analyze the data, and then visualize the data, which leads to making informed business decisions. And that's what this is all about. Taking that raw data, collecting, analyzing, visualizing, and then being able to act on it, make decisions, take action in real world situations. Okay, so this all sounds great in concept, right? But what exactly can BI do for me? What can it do for you? Okay, so from our own research and experience, we've collected the most common reasons why companies would purchase a BI software. And the main reasons are to save resources, so raw materials, manpower, time, etc. Of course, increase profits. Yeah, who doesn't want that? Reduce guesswork and stress. Okay, so I can't tell you how many sleepless nights I've had as a former business owner, having a couple businesses in the past. How many nights I stayed up and just tried to wonder what's going to happen next in my business, stressing out about it. Well, with a good BI system, you can reduce that guesswork and stress, and in some cases, even eliminate it, I dare to say. Okay? You can also identify new opportunities, so that's maybe underserved markets or underserved customers where there are other opportunities that you're not taking advantage of. Okay? It can also give you a sense of long-term stability, right? So being able to look into that past, present data, and then being able to feel like you're in control of what might happen next. So giving you a sense of long-term business stability. Okay? It can help you gain a competitive advantage. And we all know that today, with the internet, I mean, there's just so many online businesses, more businesses than there's ever been, ever. And so you need to have a competitive advantage, even if it's just a very slight competitive advantage. BI can give you that. And finally, BI can help you identify your weak points, something that we don't like to talk about, but you need to put a spotlight on those weak points and turn them into strengths. Turn your weaknesses into strengths. And again, BI can help you with that, right? And BI can provide key insights based on the past, the present, and indeed the future. So that sounds really good, right? But again, what does the market say? What are the financials about BI? So what's going on in the market? Well, according to this report from Technavio Business Intelligence Market Research, size, share, and forecast. The global BI market is set to pass 17 billion US dollars in market size by 2020. Okay, and that's at a compound annual growth rate of 10% between 2016 and 2020. All right, so that's a lot of money indeed. But what's driving this growth? Why is this happening? Well, let's look into that. So the adoption of data analytics. All right, so more and more people are adopting these technologies and using them. Okay, the increase in data availability. All right, so we're collecting data on everything these days, and creating tons of data day by day, and it's just more and more available to us as business owners. Increased acceptance of cloud BI by SMEs. Okay, so businesses are accepting that as that's going to be the norm. And in fact, like the acceptance of just cloud anything, cloud technology, now that's the norm. In the past, people didn't quite trust it and were kind of hesitant to use it. I myself being one of those people, and now it's just become the norm. All right, improved efficiency of BI tools, right? So BI is getting more and more user-friendly, right? So it's more accessible again, and anyone can use BI, not just a data scientist or data analyst. All right, and it's quite easy to see, like when we talked about the benefits of BI and the growth of BI, it's really easy to see that these driving forces are kind of exactly what every business owner would want, right? So it's easy to see why it's growing. Okay, so now let's look at the difference between BI and ERP. So a lot of people are familiar with ERP, or Enterprise Resource Planning software, but maybe not quite sure what the difference is between the two, BI and ERP. So let's just do a really quick comparison here. So BI gives solutions that give high-level analysis and insights. Okay, high-level analysis and insights, whereas ERP offers benefits at more of an operational, everyday level. Okay, and essentially we could look at it that BI gives agility. Okay, the agility to turn and move, to pivot, to make decisions quickly, whereas ERP gives you that efficiency, that operational level benefits at an everyday level. Okay, and so maybe we can define it further that BI takes internal and external data, and through its process delivers a final intelligence that empowers organizations to act. So again, delivering those insights that then allow real-world action, real-world decisions. Okay, and so there are other things that BI can do that we can talk about, like maybe if you're familiar with a data island. So a business intelligence system can also be the answer for these data island problems. And a data island, if you're not familiar with the term, that's when data is stored on a separate system or systems with limited external synchronization options. Okay, so to give you a better idea of what that means, let's look at a common example here. Let's say there's a machine park, and the service records of this machine park and the purchasing data of its related parts are stored in separate software systems. Okay, so you have service records of the machine park in one software, service records here in one software, and you have the purchasing data in a different software. So two softwares with some connection there. So some relation between the data, right? So trying to calculate the total cost in this case could be a real hassle. A good BI software solution can connect to both of these software systems simultaneously and bring these two sets of data together. Okay, and again, it's bringing that internal and external data together and creating that final intelligence. Okay, so now let's move on to processes, alerts, and notifications and how BI can help with that. Um, so BI can have preventative features as well. For example, if we want to monitor if and when certain events occur, right? So we can set up notifications if a process's cost is too high within a given period, right? So if we surpass that mark that we've set, you can then get a notification that, okay, you've gone past your budget, okay, for example. Or maybe when some of our products are approaching the end of their shelf life, right? We can have an automated notification that these products are almost out of date. So just an example there. Another example, let's say you have maybe a fleet of vehicles, right? As many service companies do. Let's say they've got, I don't know, 20 trucks or vans on the road. Uh, it's super simple to set a weekly alert or monthly alert or however often you need it, notifying you when those different vehicles need serviced. Okay, you can do that within BI. Okay, and every company has processes that need to be done cyclically, weekly, or monthly, and BI can simplify these and essentially put them on autopilot. So again, saving valuable time and resources. Okay, and maybe it's not even just every company, but every team, department, or within certain industries, right? Or even by countries. So certain countries, based on different laws of doing business, have different processes that they need to do. All right, and next we're going to talk about how a BI software can be an indispensable tool for many levels within an organization. Okay, so it's not just for top leaders. So whether it's executive management or just team leaders or even warehouse floor workers, they can all have their own account in the BI system and have access to the data that's just relevant to their responsibilities, right? So the shop floor worker doesn't need to see how the revenue was last week or will be next week. He just needs to know about what the planned production is or what's involved in him organizing the stock that's in the warehouse. So it's just relevant to what their responsibilities are. All right. So, I guess what we could say is that if you've got the data, you are really only limited by your imagination of what you want to see. Okay. And so BI can give you that competitive advantage. It can give you a feeling of stability. And most importantly, we like to say, can make your data come alive. Okay? So turning that unstructured bunch of data into something that seems to have a life of its own now and can then, I guess, motivate you to take action. Okay? So now I'd like to get into BI, right? I'd like to jump into Dyntell BI and show you what benefits and what features we have within Dyntell BI. All right, so let's jump into that right now. I'll just go into my BI software here. Okay, so here we are at our navigation form. After a quick and easy login, you come into our navigation form. And this is a highly interactive home control panel for Dyntell BI. On the right side, you can find a first steps panel. So getting started here, you've got videos that can help you walk you through different features. And then you've got some downloads like our user manual, subscription guide, and Dyntell website. Okay, so this is all here to help you get started. Okay, and from this navigation form, we can very quickly and easily access all the features in Dyntell BI, and you can also get back just as quickly. Okay, so this will always be here, this navigation form button, and no matter how deep you get into your views or your dashboards, you can always just jump back. All right, and the structure here is built up on the BI logic process. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, that means first we have to connect a database or data source. Okay, we have to set that up. And this will be the source of our data sets. Okay, and once you have your data connection, we can then break them down into data sets or groups using chosen fields or filters. All right, so you're going to filter things and kind of make it into sets that give you the base of what you want to see. All right, and the next thing we want to do is set up our data synchronization. Okay, and this means that we want to keep the stream of new data being created, that it's connected to the system, right? So as our new data comes in, then our views and our visualizations will change based on that new data. All right, so next we can begin analyzing our data. And data analysis is the first step in digging down into your raw data. All right, so in a way we can imagine it like maybe organizing a mix of stock items in a big warehouse. We are grouping it, organizing it, looking for connections, trends, and then we're cleaning that data of errors. So the errors could be duplicates or incomplete inputs or just I don't know, mistakes in the collection of that data. And we ultimately want to create what we call quality data, right? We don't want to make visualizations and predictions off of bad data. We want quality data. So this data analysis process is goes something like this, right? So you want to identify your goal or objective. And so maybe you want to see what your revenue will be next week, right? So then you need to choose which data, and as I said, what you want to find out from that data. And then you're transforming the data, aggregating it or joining it. There's the data collection, and then there's the data cleaning. And from these data sets, we can then create insightful views, informative reports, convenient dashboards, okay, and even helpful alerts, okay, that can help you with your processes. Okay, so now that we've had a quick look into how we import our data, let's look at our next step, which is really, really important, and that's visualization, which of course this includes our equally important prediction feature as well. All right, so let's jump into the software, and I'm going to show you some real-world examples, okay, some real-world benefits that Dyntell BI can provide. Okay, so let's look at our dashboards here. And I guess we should just define dashboards. Like we've gathered the most relevant views into dashboards, which give you comprehensive insights for your company. So there are many different features within a dashboard, like exporting, creating alerts, or sending an email. But let's see how maybe a manufacturer's production dashboard might look. And these are just fictitious companies, like this injection systems company name here. So here is a production dashboard. All right, and this particular dashboard is maybe built up for a production manager, and it analyzes the general machine capacities by their workload. And looking here at this top gauge view here, you can see that there's a lot of free capacity on the machines. Right, machine capacity by workload. So right away you can see there's a lot of free capacity here. And down here we see a summary table down at the bottom. And for example, this is we're highlighting where the planned quantity was more than 10,000 pieces. You can see those are highlighted. And that's just a production efficiency summary table. What about here in the middle? Okay, so we've got machine capacity. You can see the blue is the capacity, the top, and what's free is in yellow, free capacity, and what's been reserved for production is in red. And so what if I want to take a closer look into this data, right? This is what we call our drill down feature. So you can see we're looking at months here. If I just click here, now we've jumped into weeks, okay? And this is drilling down, we call it. So magnifying, digging deeper. If I click again, we go to specific days. All right, and if I click again, we go down into machine groups, and finally down to individual machines. Okay, hand grinder, hand sander. All right, and what if I want to go back? Well, I can go back step by step like this, or if I want to jump back to the default state, this double arrow here. Okay, so there I'm just highlighting our drill down feature and how interactive this can be if you just click into the data. All right, so the next dashboard I'm going to show you shows the whole corporate performance from a different viewpoint, and that's going to be this company FarmChem Performance Dashboard. And this is a general overview about a company for maybe CEOs, managing partners, leaders, managers, etc. Whoever needs access to these types of revenue and sales performance things. And I think it's pretty quickly pretty quickly you can see that not only experts can establish facts from these views on this dashboard. So even if you don't have much experience, you can immediately see here at the top right, periodic profit and profit margin. And you can immediately see in this 2-year period that this is a seasonal business, right? In the second quarter, this is when they have their real sales and revenue, in the second quarter here in both of these years. Pretty quick to see that, right? What about down here in the bottom left-hand corner? All right, so we have employee performance in different states, okay? And you can see if I hover above a pie, I can see Idaho, and I can see who's bringing in what revenue, what salespeople are bringing in what revenue if I just hover. Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in a bit more. Okay, and I think analysts, whoever's using this, can quickly identify which states or cities are stronger or weaker. Maybe they can push sales a bit harder for bigger customers and expand their targets based on this. And right now, I'm going to show you our map drill down feature. Okay, so I'm going to drill down just into Colorado. So I hold Control and I click. Okay, I just had to wait for the map there a little bit. And there you see, now we're down into Colorado specifically. Okay, so Colorado Springs, right? I can see who's doing what they're producing, right? Keith Russell there obviously is producing the most. And what if I click again? So you can see here, I'm showing employees. If I click here, I change to stock groups. I'm drilling down. Okay, so what is the revenue based on different stock groups for Colorado Springs, for example? All right, so using this, we can get really specific, and we can get down to a region, state, county, or city even. And sometimes on the map, depending on the data you have, you can get down to, not just zip code, but even streets, exact addresses. All right, so let's look at the next dashboard. Okay, and here we're looking at revenue and profit margin by customers. Again, this is this FarmChem Solutions, fictitious company. All right, and what I'm looking at here is year-over-year profit, okay, for a 4-year period, and then you have a grand total here. And what I'd like to highlight here is the power of the pivot. So a pivot table, which you're seeing here, it allows me to take any of these fields, and just by dragging and dropping, I can completely change the way that the view looks. Okay, so let me just show you how we can do that. So let's say we bring our employee field down here, right? You can completely change what you're looking at. That's why it's a pivot, because you can kind of turn and pivot as you want. So look at that. There you have employee. I've dropped that in the first place. and all of a sudden you can see all the data for specific employees, right? And you can open it up. If I right click, you can expand all, can collapse all again, and I've just moved employee. So customer was here, drag and drop employee, and there you have it. Changes instantly. All right, so let's open this up and explore this a bit more. Okay, so what we're going to do here, I'll just give you an example. So if you don't like all your data just in this raw format, right, just in a table format, with a very easy option, you can create some insightful diagrams. So let's just click more here, advanced visualizations, okay, and then we have a diagram view, which we're going to open up here. So let's just select a customer, Dragon Networks. There you go. Right away, instantly, you have all of this, what's on this row, is now shown in a diagram, okay? And so let's say I highlight just 2015. Okay, there we go, just 2015. And it's showing actually all of the customers, okay, for 2015 and what the revenue was. Revenue, profit amount, revenue column percentage as well. Okay, so it's really easy and quick. And what if I drag and do this, right? Showing just those four. Just drag and select. All right, so it's really simple, and you can visualize your data basically instantly based on your selection. And that's the power of the pivot. Okay, so what if I'm a sales manager and maybe don't have or don't need access to executive data? All I need are sales numbers. So let's dive into the sales department. All right, so let's open up our views. Now we've looked at dashboards. Let's look at single views. So sales performance by employee, and again, this is FarmChem Solutions. Okay, so what you're seeing here is a map showing salesperson performance totals for specific US cities, states, I should say. And we also have a horizontal bar graph to clearly show the revenue generated in each state. Okay, so those side by side can really help. And obviously a view like this again allows you to very quickly identify who's producing what and where. Okay, and again, as I said, if you just hover above a pie, you can very quickly see based on which state who's performing and maybe who's underperforming as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do here on the horizontal bar graph, I'm going to zoom in a bit, and I'm going to select Idaho. Okay, so now you see all of the main cities in Idaho are represented on the bar graph. Meridian performing the best. And so you can see it's been filtered specifically to different cities here, but still here on the map, I'm only looking at Idaho as a state, as a whole. So if I hold down Control, again, this is our map drill down, and click on Idaho, right away, now I've matched them up. Okay, so now I am seeing those cities here and here as well. Okay, so let's click on Meridian. Okay, now it's linked up. So now I'm seeing just Meridian, and I'm seeing my employees and their performance here. Okay, so that's the map drill down, and it's now linked them up. Okay, and what about stock groups? Okay, now I've just clicked into stock groups. Okay, so you can get more and more specific here. All right, great. Now let's move on. Again, I should say that we can really get as detailed as a street and house number in this function, in this map view. All right, so what if I have multiple locations? How can we analyze and visualize this data? So let's say you have a franchise system or just multiple restaurant, or in this case, multiple coffee shop locations. So let's look at the item turnover. Okay, so this is the item turnover for a coffee shop. And again, this is a pivot view, and it's displaying the specific item turnover per store. And again, you have all these options you can work with that you can drag and drop in here. And so here you see Seattle, San Jose, San Francisco, San Diego, San Antonio, Portland, Philadelphia, New York, and more here. So I've got each store and the quantity of each category of coffees and the net value. Okay. So like if you want to know everything about your operation, like which days generate the most sales in a given week or when peak time is, you can easily create grouping for the dates. All right, so let's say, let me just drag the date into first place here instead of category. Okay, so there you have the different dates, and then you have it set up based on each different store. Okay, and let's see here, what else can I do? Let's choose the date here, and let's choose days of the week. Okay, so now we've changed to specific days of the week. And let's check predefined analytic fields. And I'm going to put on column percentage for net value. Okay, so now look at that. Wow, okay, so now we can see the net value column percentage for each store as a total. Okay, so what days of the week are accounting for what? And really quickly here for Seattle, you can see that Fridays are the best performing in terms of revenue or net value, I should say. And then here, it looks like, so you can see that it looks like Fridays are generally the best performing day for all of the stores. Okay, as we can see here. Okay, so you can see that the turnover is quite diversified, but you know, what if I want to just send this information to the manager of the Austin store, right? Just for the Austin store. I'll click this funnel here, and I'll create a filter just for Austin. Okay, so boom, there you go. I'm just seeing Austin. I'm seeing the daily performance. I have the quantity, I have the net value, and I have the net value column percentage. All right. So what if I want to send this to the Austin manager? I'll just click send an email button. I'll select this email template. I'll send this to myself. Okay, I am not the manager of the Austin store, by the way. I'm just going to send it to myself so that I can show you that in my email, in my inbox. All right, so let's send that now. Okay, sending was successful. Let's check my inbox. Okay, Dyntell BI alerts, I've created that here. Let's refresh. Okay, there it is. So, dear Colin Fitzgerald, that's me. This is an informative email about your store's performance. Thank you, sent by Dyntell BI. So really simple, but look at that. If I get that every week, let's say, you know, that tells me a lot about how we're performing. And so if I'm perhaps I'm the owner or the leader, I can send these out to my different managers. Okay, so pretty simple, but powerful. All right, so let's go back. Let's jump back to BI here, and now let's take a look at marketing. All right, let's jump into the marketing, and let's look at social media, a social media campaign. Right? And marketing, like especially online marketing, data is huge these days. Like some companies run their whole business based on this data, right? And so this is a cost distribution, this made-up company, Business Software Solutions, right? And so you can see that you know, almost 90% of their spending is on Facebook. Okay, but this is pretty, you know, I'm not seeing very specific data here. And maybe we want to get more specific on our target groups. and be a bit more careful in our spending. So what can I do with this? Okay, let's edit this. First, let's turn this into a 3D donut. Okay, and that's just, maybe you're presenting this data. This can make it a bit more impressive. You can kind of spin that around and give it a nice angle like that. So let's see. Let's look at age group. Let's put that into the first drill down field position. And right away, you can see which age groups are performing best, how many responses or impressions or clicks you're getting depending on age group, right? And so right away, you can see that 25 to 34 age group. That's who you want to focus on. They're the most curious or interested. And maybe focus on them and maybe 18 to 24. And maybe, what if we want to focus on the top 3? Let's click on age group and let's look the first 3 value. Hit enter. Right, so now I'm just looking at the first 3, including the other category. So that means, we weren't able to get the data on their age. Okay, but this is what you want to focus on. Okay, and really save yourself some time and energy creating your ads to these people specifically. Okay, so we've covered dashboards, we've covered views. Now we've come to one of the most important and interesting points in our webinar, and that is prediction. And this is a very, very exciting field in the world of data right now. And it's literally changing the way we do business. All right, so let's jump back to our PowerPoint here. And so let's jump through. Predictive analytics. All right, that's what we're going to talk about it. And you may not realize it, but everyday technologies which we've all come to rely on use predictive analytics. So your car's navigation system, for example, uses predictive analytics while planning the fastest route to your destination, right? We all use that these days. Your smartphone, right? Your smartphone weather app uses a similar method to predict, maybe whether it's going to rain tomorrow or not. All right, and having in the business world in particular, having an accurate and thus effective forecast reduces your overhead and increases your operational stability. Right, it's pretty simple to understand that having a good prediction or forecast can help. And really obvious benefits of successful forecasting include being able to maybe foresee expected fluctuation in cash flow, prepare for it in advance, predicting future orders for next week, next month, and keeping your stock at optimal levels, right? I've had a web shop, and it was pretty tricky to keep my stock at the levels that I needed it to be at. I really couldn't tell when orders were going to come in or not. Being able to realize maybe that a key client is about to leave and sending someone to fix that, to solve their problem, manage their complaint, or kind of maybe give them an irresistible offer, right? And again, the benefits are virtually endless, like being able to have an accurate forecast for what's coming next for your business. I mean, the benefits, they're essentially endless if you think about it, okay? And I'm sure you could think of many. Okay, and although the science of predictive analytics is really quite new, its popularity, we could say, is spreading like wildfire, and that's because it's having real world impact on businesses' bottom lines. And again, that's what really matters, right? So, okay, so how is predictive analytics being utilized now? Well, it's being used in many different industries across the board. Of course, online marketing, retail, healthcare, a lot of data there, and they're predicting how things will go in the future. Law enforcement, that's an interesting one. Law enforcement is using predictive analytics to predict where and when crimes might happen based on past data, which is a bit scary, but I mean, that's how they're using it. It makes sense. Of course, financial decisions, stock market, Forex, risk analysis, insurance companies, right? That's a big one. And then, of course, inventory planning or optimization of production processes for manufacturing. That's a huge one there. Okay, but it's easy to imagine scenarios where inaccurate forecasting can create huge problems, right? So, just how accurate are these forecasts? We really need to understand, um, the methods used behind them. So let's imagine a scenario like a wedding or a big business event planned outdoors because you have a sunny forecast. And then in comes a big thunderstorm, everything and everyone is drenched, and the event is completely ruined, right? So we can imagine the same thing, or the chaos that could happen from a far-off prediction in business forecasting as well, right? So here we have our happy business owner. He's got a prediction for growth in the next quarter, and of course, it's a different type of thunderstorm indeed. Complete chaos in a business if you have an inaccurate forecast. All right, so in conclusion, it's very important, it's vital that you understand the methods used in prediction features, because you need to find the best fit for your data to predict your future, okay? And more companies need and want predictive analysis, right? It's a buzzword for a reason. And that's really great news for us, because a prediction is actually one of Dyntell BI's strongest points, right? So let's jump back and let's see it in action. All right, so we're going to look at a cash flow prediction, actually. So let's open up Dyntell BI. We're back here at our navigation form. Let's click on Prediction View, Cash Flow Prediction. Okay, so here we have a spline view, and it's showing outgoing payments and incoming payments. Okay, and I should mention that this data is from that same company that had the seasonal revenue, right? So they just had in the second quarter of both years, that's when they really had all the revenue and sales. Y vertical axis, you have the amount, and then X horizontal axis, you have the dates here. All right, so let's create a prediction. All right, and here you have correlating data that we can make correlations with, and that's different stock prices, exchange rates, so we can use all of these to compare with. All right, so let's set the unit to 1, and let's set the interval to a week, so 1 week. All right, and let's start our prediction. Okay, cash flow prediction scheduled. And there we have it, okay? It's that quick. And so right away I can see that, okay, wow, so next, in 1 week, we will have about $1,000 expense. Okay, so right away I can see that. Okay, and it's important for me to note, or for us to note, that the prediction started here. Okay, this is the future prediction. And why I'm showing this back scheduled prediction here, I just wanted to highlight that if we had run a prediction for that period, how accurate it would have been, right? So I just wanted to add that in to show you. And actually at 2 points here, we connected, was accurate. So outgoing payment of 252, our prediction was 241. Outgoing payment of 633, we predicted 675. So pretty close, those 2 points where it actually lined up. And again, that's the real prediction from this point forward. And this is if we had run a prediction for that period back in time. I just wanted to highlight that so I could show you the accuracy. And then of course, the incoming payment based on the past data continues to be 0. That's not important. The point was to highlight this outgoing payment cash flow prediction. All right, so you can see how powerful that can be, how it can be useful for basically any business to know what's going to happen. All right, so I hope you're able to get some good information from that and see how we can use this, how powerful the benefits of predictive analytics can be. All right, so let's go back to our PowerPoint and let's close this webinar. Let's see here. Okay, let's just run through this. So, I'd like to go over our outcomes one last time, just to show you what we've gone through. I wanted you to know more about the benefits BI can deliver. And I think I've shown you quite a lot of benefits, not just in Dyntell BI, or not just in any BI, but in Dyntell BI specifically. I wanted you to be more familiar with data collection, analysis, and visualization, which is essentially what BI is and does. And I've showed you how we import the data or collect the data. I described how we analyze it. And then, of course, I showed you some visualization. And obviously, also, I tried to help you to maybe understand how you can identify a BI solution that best fits your needs. Okay, so how you can start to realize what you need in your organization and what a good BI solution or what a good fit would be for you in terms of BI software. I showed you concrete examples of views, right? So many different views and dashboards as well. And then I showed you a prediction there at the end. And for me, I think the dashboards are really the most convenient and best way to visualize your data, all your relevant data in one convenient dashboard, right? And then, a really important part was to understand the power of predictive features and how they are literally changing the business world, changing how we do business, right? We talked about that at the very end. And I hope there was more. I hope there were more bits of information that you gleaned from this webinar and even more takeaways. All right. So I'd like to really thank you for your attention, for your time. We've covered a lot in this short amount of time, yet I think still this is only a peek under the hood when it comes to what a good BI system can do. And I really truly believe that there will come a time when people will wonder like how anyone even ran a business without the support of BI, right? They won't even be able to fathom how people were able to do business without it. All right, and now I'd like to take the opportunity to invite you to our next webinar, and that will be how to manage your complex workflows with alerts and notifications. And I showed you one of those notifications there that I sent in an email, but you can automate those, right? You can set those up on autopilot. And in this webinar, you'll learn how BI can automate and systematize processes, again, saving time, money, and resources. Okay, and finally, you can try Dyntell BI for free right now using your data. So this was just made up data, right? But when it's your data, it's certainly a lot more interesting. And you can try it for free. As I said, it's risk-free and it costs you nothing. Just head to dyntellbi.com and you can get started today. And once again, I'd like to invite you to go ahead and email me, column@dyntellbi.com. If you have any questions at all or any concerns at all, I'm happy to answer your questions. Okay, so thank you very much again for your attention. I hope I was able to give you some golden nuggets of information there. And have a great day, and I'll hope to see you on our next webinar. Again, Colin Fitzgerald with Dyntell BI. Have a good one. See you next time.